Hi friends, how you doing tonight? It is 10 July from the Quad Cities here in the Midwest. So ever hear the phrase, "It's not my fault"? I've heard that many times throughout the years. We see it more and more today. I've seen it with family members, friends, peers, and even to an extent when I was young, much younger, I used to use that phrase. Gladly, with the grace of God and with some effort, I don't use that phrase anymore. Neither should anybody. It's a phrase and a mentality that is pushed today, especially with today's youth, that is very, very dangerous. We live in a society that has more depression for various reasons. I've talked about that before. I'm not going to go into a lot of the reasons. That's for another conversation. We have a lot of depression, a lot of unrest, a lot of financial issues. And we have a lot of people that want to push the blame, pass the buck on everybody but themselves. I'm sure you know these people because I have known them. They have a lifetime of, into their 40s and 50s and stuff, a lifetime of not wanting to work, wanting to depend on somebody all the time, and they complain and moan that people don't care about them. And there's always an excuse as to why they can't get their life together. Oh, but these people always seem to have money. They're always lacking money because they've started to go on disability at a young age, like in their 20s. I've seen these people. I cannot understand how an able-bodied man can do that, but they do. And then they never really have a lot of money because you never really make a lot of money with that type of lifestyle. You scrape by, if that. And then you're always complaining about money, but these people always seem to have money for beer, alcohol in general, cigarettes, sometimes drugs, pornography. They always seem to have money for those types of things. But the staples, paying child support or doing the things they have to do with responsibility, never seem to have money for that. And it's always somebody else's fault. It's a very, very bad trait that we have in today's society. But you see it even in all aspects. Being in the military as long as I've been, I've seen it with substandard soldiers over the years. There's always that 10%, they say, in the military that just doesn't seem to comply. They'll complete the basic training and stuff, but then they'll always just slide by. Most of these people never hit retirement. Sometimes a few will slide through the system and make it through. They don't get very high rank or nothing, but they make it through. But a lot of them that are very lazy, and those 10% will get weeded out rather early. But just always the same thing. They're always getting excuses as to why they can't do their job, or this one was against them. There's always an excuse. Very indisciplined people. There's always somebody else's fault for something, but yet you'll always see it's the same mold. They're usually always not in physical compliance. Their exercise scores are low. They're overweight. They don't take care of their groom. It's always the same mold because all that stuff takes discipline. This is the military. You even see the civilian world. When people's always somebody else's fault for something. And you'll see these people, they look undisciplined because if you're not disciplined in trying to get a career and trying to better yourself, you're probably not going to be disciplined in other aspects of life. Just basic things, cleaning up, basic things. It takes discipline and effort to do these things. We have to get away from pointing fingers all the time because a lot of people, it's pride. It's a bad pride. A lot of people think, oh, if I have a problem, I can't admit that I have that problem because it makes me look like I'm weak. No. Actually, it makes you look like you're a responsible person who's finally realized that as a human being, we all hit a point somewhere in our life, many of us, that we have something that we need somebody else to help us with to get through. There's nothing wrong with that. You can't sit there in your pride and say, I'm fine. It's not me. If you're an alcoholic, that's tough to overcome. Drugs, very tough to overcome. Cigarette smoking, pornography, gambling. All these things, if they get to a point where you can't control it, are very difficult to stop on your own. And there's nothing embarrassing about going to proper authorities and saying, look, I need assistance for this. But pride stops a lot of people from doing it. They don't admit there's something wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. And then when you do go to these these agencies for assistance. You can't do like I know some people that last like a couple of days and they leave because, well, they know it all. Oh, they're not going to help me. I know more than them. Yeah, right, you do. That's why you're in the position of life you're in. You got to let people help you. There's nothing wrong with admitting you have a problem that you can't solve on your own. Many of us in life go through that. Matter of fact, that is a sign that is something to be respected. But we live in a society that's very undisciplined, wants handouts, wants something for nothing. Okay? This is very against, if you're a Christian person, Catholic like myself, a Christian in general, that is very unbiblical to be lazy, undisciplined, and expect handouts. It's nothing, and to sit there and wallow in your self-pity and blame everybody all the time. Look, as bad as you think you have your life, or you didn't have a good upbringing, or there's always somebody worse. There's always examples of people that had it worse than you that have excelled in their life because they wanted to. The end of the day, I said this before in a video, and this is going to be a part that I repeat a little, I'll admit it, okay? Most of the time, we're in the status of our life as we go on in life because we put ourselves there. Now, you might have had a bad start. You might have had a broken family. I'm not saying that isn't true. But if you're consistently failing through your life and you're starting to get in your 40s and beyond, and you just can't seem to get it right with anything, relationships, jobs, social commentaries, and dealing with your peers, you just can't seem to hold anything straight. You got to look in the mirror and stop blaming people. Because at the end of the day, only you can make your life better. Even if you go to a specialist for anything, rehab or whatever, and you go to a doctor or a counselor or a psychiatrist or anything, a priest or a minister, all these people that can help you, they can only help you if you want to help yourself, if you really want to make a change. Nobody can force a change on you. Oh, they can do medical things and detox your body and all this stuff. But at the end of the day, you have to make the decision to not, once you're on the road to recovery, to not keep doing it. Okay? You can talk to all the psychologists and the specialists, the smartest people in the world. But you have to make a conscious decision. You have to make it to make the right decision. I can tell you, I've done things in my life that I'm not proud of in my youth. But I didn't want to do those things anymore. I put that aside a long time ago. Doesn't make me a better person. It just means I realized that wasn't a road to go on. It's a destructive road. Physically, mentally, and every other way you can be. It's destructive. You got to think at somewhere in life, where do you want to be tomorrow? Or actually, if you're at a certain point in life right now, where do you want to be next year at this point? Do you want to be alive, first of all? Do you have a bad habit, a physical bad habit, drugs, alcohol? Do you want to be alive? That's number one. But also, where do you want to see your life? And then you take the steps. You might need assistance from specialists and stuff like that. Fine. Nothing to be embarrassed about. But you've got to take the steps. That's the bottom line. We're a very undisciplined society where everybody's got to do things for us today. Handouts, freebies, want to work, freebie from the government, this and that. Everything's about giving me something for nothing. I'm the entitled society. Poor me. That is a very self-destructive attitude to have as a nation. Very destructive. And if you're a Christian person, many of you are that are listening to this, that's not in any way, shape, or form a way to be as a Christian. It is against Christianity. To be lazy, undisciplined, and never take responsibility for anything. Pride, bad pride, is a very bad thing. It will kill you. It'll put you down. We live in society today that doesn't want to take responsibility for a lot of things. We're seeing the results. We're seeing the results, and it's not good. So that's my talk for the day. And I do hope you have a good rest of the day. It's raining outside. At least it was. It looks like it stopped, but it was raining pretty hard here. All right. It's Rick here on 10 July. God bless and have a great day.